the call so that way you don't get stressed about whether or not the billionaire is going to like pick up or flake. No, I'm teaching you. I don't care if, well, you're welcome, but it's meant to have you win before the phone call starts. Because if you're talking, what's that hard CS class? Oh, what's the number? That's a big class for a sophomore. I see. Okay, so you can see how that class, CS 439, is just like Stanford class, CS 106B, where if you're the TA or if you're a competent student, you can see how you're gonna make money solving a problem, right? Because it's operating systems, and everyone's system, when you do an audit of it, it's totally crap, right? Or it just is like, why'd you do it this way? Or why are you're getting crap results because, you didn't take 439. But do you see how like nobody understands it? Look at the people in class. Like half the people are lost. Well, maybe not half, but let's say, 10% of the people are lost. Well, you know what? It's half. Half the people are lost and half the people can't teach it. Now imagine an older person who's literally clueless and can't do a screenshot, right? And can't look at a diagram or a YouTube video for how do I capture a screenshot on an iPhone 6. Get it? Because they're old and running it well. So now you have to explain complicated stuff. The way to do it is to let them know, hey, I can organize a phone call, because my operating systems for a phone call is a protocol that is different, right? Hey, I'm gonna text you, hey, this is part of the agenda with a mother scratching picture of Josh Bear, right? And then this protocol is actually called dinosaur whispering, where a rich executive needs to be told and mentored. So you're mentoring a dinosaur, or you're training a horse, or you're training a dog. That's dog whisperer. Horse training, horse whisperer. Dinosaur whisperer is you're trying to get an NFL owner to understand you can do an API for who bought seats, so that way you can guesstimate the number of people who are going to be buying your ticket in your stadium to cheer against you. If you're an NFL owner, and then taking half of those people that hate you, making 40% of them love you enough to return to a next game. Hey, you guys cheer against my Dallas Cowboys or my New England Patriots. Thank you for coming. Maybe we can be your second favorite team. Larry Chang, NFL owner, right? And then you're like, wow, that was really courteous. I don't hate the Larry Chang NFL team, but wow, guess what? When you're the second favorite team, how likely are you to be their first favorite? Super likely. You will, because now you get a text message from the owner that's like, no way, is this real? And then that, I just taught you second supplier gambit. Right? If you're a sophomore at UT, okay, you don't get to be my primary, I'm going to call you guys IT support, but it's, computer science development. But old people call it IT, information technology. Yeah, IT's almost a swear word. But you're the second, and now you have a chance to be first. And you don't even ask to be first. You ask to be second. Okay, so that's what I wanted to lead off with. What did you want to talk to me about, since you're the one who wanted this call? love that. You tell me. You tell me. You tell me. Those are 3 great options. Easy texting, third-party data verifications, text alerts on a credit card loan or a credit card delta. Like, those are all good. 9 VCs you don't want to meet. That's hilarious. But if you're not comfortable raking VCs, you could go with the safe choice, because there's also a bunch of other safe choices too. But that's completely up to you, because you're going to be kind of scared that this is something that you're going to be known for. And I get that. So you completely can pick. The other thing you can do, which is while you're doing it, you're going to be doing this, is you can be the VC. So this is what happens to sophomores. I don't know why it's always sophomores, but it is. You can be a VC because you can do something that other VCs can't do, which is what Peter Thiel won't teach you about 600K, right? Which is this. You can fund your cohorts at CS 178. So you can farm out, pun intended, like Stanford, get it, the farm. It's not that funny. So you could farm out, and what you said that was abysmal, which I will repeat, which is, why are you outsourcing doing this to me? So you won't be outsourcing, you'll be farming out. You'll be helping make, maybe a millionaire actually, but definitely 600K. You'll be helping people get 600K when you're the VC, and then you get 0%. And yeah, you're getting screwed, but are you really getting screwed when you write a thank you note to your teacher? Because you're out $20, okay? But did you really get screwed? Or you didn't, right? And so am I getting screwed helping you maybe surpass me, right? Because $2 billion, $2 trillion. I mean, you could hit 2 trillion and then surpass me. I mean, because your likelihood of surpassing me now is high because I'm helping you surpass me, right? And I'm probably going to get 0 on it, but then do I really get screwed? I don't. But why would you say I don't? Exactly. It just from a base camp of karma. If you say thank you, if you do a mentor mention, if you help somebody else, but you can actually be a VC in your class where you pick one thing and then you get traction, and then people are going to be like, OMG, you got traction. Because that's a next step, is you need traction. To answer your question, you need something that's commercially viable. You need something to show everyone else that you have made more money in that class than everybody else combined. And a product launch is a little bit tougher than the layup, which is already ironed out. What was the layup that I already ironed out? Because third-party data verification, that's a FU, I'm smarter than you play. And granted, it's a 12-year-old smarter than you play. But remember, if Larry Chang is 5 to 50 years ahead of Silicon Valley, do you want to risk being 1 year ahead of the market, right? I mean, you could always do third-party data verification because that's always going to be a problem, okay? That's always going to be a problem. And you can have that, okay? You can have that later. And so this is, I'm going to show off here. This is actually lecture 19, Engineering 145. Did you watch my lecture for Engineering 145, lecture 19? Yeah, it's going to be tough because you're in CS 439. Let me tell you what lecture 19 is, and good job for remembering second stage or second supplier gambit, trying to be somebody's number 2. And that is this: you're able to run third-party data verification separate and on its own for later. Does that make sense? Because it's not more risky, it's just you can't make 80 grand. Well, actually you sort of can, but you've never done. What you're trying to do with third-party data verification is you're trying to have a $7 to $17 million business between 3 dudes or 3 people. And that's fine, but it helps if you've already gotten a 600K one time, like doing a weed growing business out of your backyard, Anthony. It totally makes sense, right? And so third-party data verification, you're kind of a little bit ahead, and it sounds great from a CS178 pitch standpoint, along with text alerts, along with anything that's a techie business, but you want to have a guaranteed win so that way you can, lecture 19 to finish. Personal business plan. Do you like how I stay on target with not getting distracted, even though, yeah. So Engineering 145, lecture 19, personal business plan. You first get your sequence right. You want to be a VC in class while 9 VCs you don't want to meet, while you plan to do third-party data verification. Let me ask you this. What was Josh Baer's moonlight? Because remember, this is a moonlighting project, which is also why you should probably pick 9 VCs, because that moonlight's great, whereas third-party data verification is a 60-hour-a-week job, right? Yeah, what was that called? You know what it was called? Oh, good job. This is critical because everybody's going to screw this up and not get to 600K. Literally, this question is critical. The question is what was Josh Baer's company before Skylist? Because this is critical, and Peter Thiel doesn't talk about it, Josh Baer doesn't talk about it, only I talk about it. And as the answer to this pop quiz question, which is why can't people get off of 0? So the question is why can't people, which is you have to put this in a box. Because as a VC, your main job as a VC in the class CS178 is to give karma and to help people because you got helped, okay? And this is counterintuitive, but now it's intuitive, because why can't people get off 0 is the question that Josh Baer kind of can't explain. Peter Thiel definitely can't explain. Larry Chang gets put at risk explaining this to people. You ready for the answer? This is everything, okay? I've got a follow-on question before I give you the answer, because this answer is so valuable. What are the milestones between $0 and $600,000? Tell me the milestones. If there are 12 milestones, give me the first couple of milestones. What are the milestones? Yeah, that's a really good common sense thing. Um, that is a good common sense thing, but that's also not that's literally gonna keep you forever at zero. And so, go on. There you go. Exactly. You want to have a business that's a spinoff. And most people, when I say these are the milestones between $0 and $600,000, most people go, oh, let me guess what the milestones are. $6,000, $60,000, and then bam, you're there. And there's 3 milestones. Whereas I break down 12 milestones, they are all below $6,000. And this is what like bakes, it doesn't even bake people's noodles. People are just like, that can't be, because halfway to $600,000 is $300,000. I'm like, no. Halfway to $1 billion is $50 million. That's halfway. And does that make sense to you as an engineer? Because if you make $50 million, it's really easy to make $50 billion, because you already made 50 million and you just kept on going, right? Because you're buying. It's impossible, actually. And then also even the word 1 million. So what gets people to get off of zero, the answer is the 12 milestones in and around $0. So it turns out there's 12 milestones in and around $0. Because all your classmates won't do something that Josh Bear did, which is his business before Skylist was Josh Bear Contracting Services. I'm paying Josh Bear $50 because he read the Star 9 Tech Manual. He's the only guy who read it. Turns out nobody reads anything. And that was back in the day nobody read. In the 90s or wherever Josh went to school. That was back in the 90s where people didn't read. Guess what? People are reading less now. Right? And so that's the thing that Josh Bear doesn't want to tell you, which will help people get off of zero, which is use your real effing name. And people won't. And people won't use real name. They just won't. And I kind of get why, but this solves literally everything. Is your real name is to be used because you are at risk. And Peter Thiel did Stanford Review, the sequel to Harvard Review, and he was at risk because he put himself as editor. And a lot of people that have a startup, it's email me at info@duck9.com, which I should actually have an auto reply for info@duck9.com and just be like, our company's not a fraud. Email Larry@duck9.com or text this cell. Because info@company.com is just FU at don't email me.com. You like that, don't you? Because when you see when you see contact at mega corporation, it's a small company pretending to be big, where it's just 2 people, and you die when you are small pretending to be big, because big companies have problems. Don't emulate the problems of a big company. In fact, you want to be a huge company. This is only by Larry Chang, by the way. You actually want to be a giant company where people are like, are you the only person working there? And you're like, oh my God. That's how much personal attention people get, is they think your giant company is little. Buttles and James, it doesn't matter. So the ideal is you want to have a huge company that seems small and shitty, but massively profitable. So you don't get a million competitors doing third-party data verification using 5 cell phone corporations API to determine if 650-283-8008 is under Verizon, right? Like, that's a simple API. And then how long has that cell phone number been connected to Venmo? Okay, because that's valuable, right? Because it tells you if they have a bank account now, right? And if they're a live person, blah, 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 you've now made money on third-party data verification. Because that stuff's always changing. So pick one. Pick one, and also, like, you should have done this already, because we met like 10 days ago on what, October 5th? You should have had a party already, and you should be done with CS 178. But I also understand the fact that you're at 0 and you're very comfortable on 0, but you should have gotten this class done with. Like, this class should be over for you, and you have not yet started. But that's okay, because you're going to be giving the same speech to other people. Hey, this class should have been over for you because I just gave you third-party verification of UT cell phone numbers as it pertains to getting a free house. Literally a free house. So you want to see that you can do 9 VCs you don't want to meet by finding an article. Hey, this is how to live rent-free with a 3-bedroom. You rent out 2 of the bedrooms, and, that's the article. So your corporation is now that article, because that writer makes 20 grand a year because they can't execute. You can execute, right? And so you then motivate people by saying, look, I talked to you 10 days ago. Your CS 178 project, it should be done. And do you see how you're doing the one thing, but the one thing has like 5 things. But you haven't done the one thing yet, which is get up off the ground and get to more revenue than your entire class. Is that crazy? Yeah, and I understand. And you're going to have to, and this is, you literally have to do a party that's 11 minutes long with at least 5 people to 20 people. And you're gonna cry because you're gonna worry that 100 people don't come. And you're gonna need to put yourself out there, and you're gonna feel like it's a failure if 3 people come. But it turns out getting your first customer is actually impossible. Which is why everybody's on 0. You will get your first customer, because how will you get your first customer? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a question that you need to put in a box, because you're going to need to ask people, because 90% of class will get 0 customers. And the only people that will get customers is you and your venture capital funded, but you're not giving people capital, you're just giving people what a VC does before the money goes in. Oh my God. How will you get your first customer? This is a test. This is a test if we were at a cocktail party, because I told you the answer. Tell me. Okay, that's an A- answer. So the A+ answer is, oh, I'm glad you asked. How do I get my first customer for my business? 9 VCs you don't want to meet. Do you see how that gives you time to think, and it just lets you repeat the name of your company? Because a lot of people, I can't tell you how many pitches, I have no idea what company they have, because they never say it. Or their name. Like, do you know why rappers say their name in a song? It's because they realize, hey, first couple songs, Ghost Riding the Whip, like, I forgot to say Chameleonaire, who, by the way, I help make a VC because that's who I am. Do you know he's a VC? Because I'm only bringing it up because you're from Houston. It doesn't matter. How can you be from Houston and not know who Chameleonaire is? How will you get your first customer? Oh, I'm glad you're asking me how I get Chameleonaire. You got to write that down because, yeah, he actually should be a VC who pitches. You're welcome. How do you get your first customer? Oh, well, my business is 9 VCs you don't want to meet. And the way we're going to get our first customer is a rebate model. You said free. And as soon as people say free, everyone's like, you're a loser. They don't say it to your face, but they say, you're a loser because you're giving away your product for free. Which is why you need to say it for what it is, which is a rebate model. Specifically, a Larry Chang reverse rebate model. You know that Josh Baer did a reverse rebate model, right? Or you don't know. And so I know. And so this is the genius thing of how to prime the pump for getting revenue is how will you get your first customer? The answer, you say, look, how do you get your first customer? You can explain it in 5 letters or 5 sentences or infinite number of sentences because they don't know what they're doing, which lets people talk and have stage time and discussion, emotion, feeling. Whereas, how do I get my first customer? Hashtag LCRRM. What? Yeah. So instead of problem, giving your product away for free. Problem, letting a VC attend a party for free. Might they flake? Most definitely. Solution, charge them $800. If they show up, they get their $800 back. Problem, solution, solution. Explaining the problem. People are flaky. Solution, charge people $500. You're coming. Pay me $500. If you show up, you get your $500 back. That isn't one positive interaction from free and then I never used it, which is actually 0. It's actually 3 positives. One is, oh my God, is this going to even be worth $500? 2, oh my God, you actually gave me my $500 back. 3, oh my God, now I feel guilty because it was worth $50,000. And if they don't go through those iterations, you didn't check all their boxes for how will you get your first customer. I mean, look at operating system CS439. If you can't CS439 their business for an internship where you get paid $1 million or $2 million, something's wrong, right? Something's really wrong. Like if you don't get a great internship next summer, you messed up, okay? Or you're a baseball player and you just gotta play in the summertime. But then, at nighttime, you should get an internship. Or, you wanted to go be an artist or something where you're screwing it up. But how will you get your first customer? You will help other people get their first customer by using their real name, by running the Josh Baer contracting services before he started Skylist. And now you get to lecture at CS178. Like, do you see any students lecturing in 178? Guess what? Students will be lecturing, or because it's UT, 1, just you. So now you've gone from the back of the class to the front of the class. You should write that down as a goal. Lecture 19, Engineering 145. This is why you get a mentor, because you don't want to just sit in the back of the class. You want to sit in the front of the class, sit at the edge of your seat, ask a crap ton of questions, and then tell Josh Baer shit-talky that he actually forgot to teach. And then your franchise, next one could be Shiitake Josh Baer forgot to teach. Or what they don't teach you at UTCS 178, which is somebody else's class. Or sorry, that's somebody else's corporation. Did you get that? Did you get that name? Yeah. And you see how that's an article. It's also a business. It's also genius, because now you just funded them with their idea, and you can help them execute. What's the first thing that they got to do to get a customer, right? Is they do the LCRM, and then the next 5 people maybe pay $10 because, you know, it's undergrads, right? And they're not going to pay like what a VC pays, which is why 9 VCs you don't want to meet. They'll pay $1,000. They'll pay $3,000. They'll do that all day long. Do you see how like the next best thing is students, and what student do you know is gonna pay $15,000? Right? Nobody, and you laugh. If a VC doesn't pay you $5,000, okay, I'm not gonna say you're an idiot. But then also and this is critical, because people on the other side of zero is $600,000. Is people, once they hit $600,000, they're just like, oh, you know, let's do drugs and let's do women. And you're like, what? You're at 600K. Like, you know, those options only become options later. And actually you want to pretend like you never made that money, so that way you get to seem like you're sandbagging. That's actually chapter 13 of my mentor's book. So before, at 600K, you want to douche tithe. You want to help other people. And that's what's going to help you, in a box, your goal, lecture at CS 178. Because other people are going to be like, yeah, you know, this is where I got my help, so you will get mentor mentioned. That's a great question. I'm going to answer it with a hashtag CS183VC. And if you want me to expand on that, you want to, as a VC, you want to give people revenue before you give people capital. Because if you give people revenue and they don't pick up the revenue, do you give people capital? Let me repeat that. Exactly. Good. No, you don't. So guess what? Most people sit at zero. And so let's say you do get a whale, okay, where somebody who's already primed and somehow just can't get off of zero, you push them off zero, and all of a sudden they're at $2 million, and now they're past you. How do you feel about your piddly little business only got 70 grand, okay? You lectured, and then they're like, oh my God, everything just clicks. Bam, they're at $2 million. How do you feel? Do you? Okay, but do you see how I'm previewing? Because this is actually what you want as a VC. Because if you don't get a Mark Zuckerberg, you go bankrupt. If you don't get a Zach Coelius or a Larry Chang or a Luke Nosek, you go bankrupt. So if you don't get that, this is all the stuff of, you know, what Peter Thiel won't teach you about your first 600K when you're trying to be a VC. Because you as a student in undergrad, you get the opportunity to let somebody else surpass you. And if they don't surpass you, you're kind of toast. And so I'm trying to wire your pain and pleasure correctly, because you getting to 70K, you were just at zero, okay? And now you're at 70K, and now you're gonna be mad at somebody that you helped getting to $2 million? But it happens actually almost never, which is why I only have one LinkedIn contact. Do you like how I'm answering literally 11 questions? Roll of Botha helps you make, gives me goosebumps, helps you make between $200 to $200 million before he gives you dollar number one in buying stock. And so you now are 10 years ahead of Silicon Valley, which is CS 183E for edit. Because you're literally trying to polish up a piece of turd and turn it into $2 million. $2 billion, $2 trillion, money's fucked, right? And so remember when you're like, hey Larry, you only have one LinkedIn contact. Are you a total fraud, right? Roelof Botha. Me, Roelof Botha, Peter Thiel, Luke Nosek, Josh Baer a little bit. We'll help you make money before you join us. And that's what you're gonna do. And if they accidentally make 2 mil, well, get them a real VC, which is also what VCs do. Hey, you're too popular for me, but I helped. And then you refer them to one of the VCs who paid you part of that $70,000. Right? And then that VC is gonna be like, that was the best $5,000 I ever spent because I got this $2 million third-party data verification deal for big data as it pertains to the ledger for crypto, as it pertains to running third-party verification into crypto ledgers, into a distributed ledger, whatever that is, right? Super valuable, right? And so do you see how I answered 7, 8, 5, 9 of your questions with that one question? Because now you're ahead. That's how you get to be a VC. You do that once or twice, and then there's going to be an LP, a limited partner, that's going to be like, hey, what would you do if I gave you 40 mil? And it turns out that's my buddy Naval Ravikant. He's got AngelList. You could do a pop-up fund, which is that path for 9 VCs you don't want to meet, because now you're none of those 9 VCs. You are none of those 9 VCs. And then you might actually can keep that name, 9 VCs you don't want to meet. Do you see how this is craziness? This is code for fiat. I'm showing you how to mine fiat. Mining Bitcoin, okay, there's a lot of competitors. Mining fiat, there's literally people can't read. You're mining fiat by reading and studying and writing notes. You've already done 90% of the work. Actually, I would say 99% of the work. Now you just need to pick up the free money for edit, paste, Eventbrite. So what's your next step? Load up an Eventbrite. What's your next step? Write 12 sentences, 2 pictures, 1 focus, as per Playbook Play, EUT. There you go. See? You get still an A+ without the asterisk. The way that last time I gave you an A+, that was kind of a 1 asterisk FU. Remember that one? Yeah. You kind of deserved it, right? You kind of deserved it, right? Yeah, minimum viable blog post, EUTWMPPM, A+++, buddy. People won't. And then you'll tell people, hey, this gives me goosebumps. Because people are like, oh, I don't know how to get off of 0. 12 sentences, 2 pictures, 1 focus. I can write a thesis that nobody reads, but I can't write 12 pictures, or I can't write 12 sentences. And 2 pictures, way too hard. And having 1 focus, I could never do it. Minimum viable blog post. That actually is another business called How Do I Get a Free Press Pass? You're welcome. That's another business. Because a lot of young people, they want to go network because they don't have a job. Because, quite frankly, not hiring them is actually a good idea. But some people got to hire people anyway. So if you want a free press pass, this is another business, which is how to get a free press pass. Because guess how many WordPress blog posts are written about a conference before the conference happens? Guess. In America. Yes! 0. And you're like, so 3'll be 99% of it? Like, yeah, pretty much. And then if they say no, you benefit more because you can run protocol after party, which is, okay, well, I'll just create a better thing right across the street from the convention center, which is what Nick Spiller did with UTE Week, is the experience of South by before South by in a week of entrepreneurship. Is your brain exploding right now? Let's say it is, such as what? Okay, such as?
The whole minimal viable blog post, having an after party, a lot of things I'm remembering.
What else?
I mean, I have more notes. The guacamole.
That is huge. That's another business. That's another business for UT CS 178 is guacamole. Because guess what guacamole is? Do you know what it is? Sort of. That's recipe number 2. But what is guacamole in all its 34 recipes? All it is Mark McCormick's recipes from 1983. But then if I told you, hey, do some shiitake from 1983, how would you feel? People don't even read that book either. And so if I put it as guacamole, which is a sequel to like Lululemon and La La La, and people are like, I love guacamole, tell me more. And then I'm like, well, the Four Seasons used my guacamole recipe because I fire roasted garlic, chilled it, pureed it, and I told Elmer, the head chef at 4, hey, have you thought about barbecue and guacamole? Oh, that won't work. Avocado melts down. It's a fat. It'll incinerate. How about if you roast garlic and then you chill it and then it adds a smoke flavor, just like roasted bell peppers mashed up, put into guacamole? Oh, and it turns out that's the recipe for entrepreneurship, because I could have said one word, which is loser, which is, free. No. I'm going to make free much more complicated, which is Larry Chang reverse rebate model, which Mark McCormick gave me. If you mention me as your agent, Mark McCormick, I will give you all of your Acura money back, because agents make 15 to 30% of your nut. But if you're like, hey, Mark McCormick really is a great agent, he's the guy who got me my Mercedes deal with his little buddy Larry Chang at New York Fashion Week. So I got that deal from him, but you don't even need to say that. You just need to say, hey, Mark McCormick and Larry Chang, they're great guys. Bam! You get all that 30% back, and you now get to keep all your Acura money, all your Mercedes money, all your Gatorade money. That's guacamole, and now you get it, okay? You get it because you've been studying that minimum viable blog post and that after party, because now Nick Spiller, Johnny Van, they ran South by events weeks before South by. Weeks, and they called it UTE Week. And I was doing UTE Week a year before Nick Spiller and Johnny Van did it, and like 4 years prior to when UT tried to lock it up. That's another business, actually, which is UTE Week, because students can do a UTE Week, because UT will be like, oh, no, we're going to sue you, you UT student. And then a startup with balls will be like, yeah, there's prior art, like before art, like artwork. Prior art is critical, because UT will be like, oh, this is our franchise. And it turns out they ripped it from me without attribution. They ripped it from me without permission. I never gave permission. Yeah, it's open sourced, but I never gave you permission. And so if you're a UT student, you could run UTE Week, like not just March, you could run it in January. And then when the school threatens to sue you, the way that the University of Illinois threatened to sue Larry Chang, the way University of Illinois threatened to sue Mark Andreessen. Do you know who Mark Andreessen is? something for you to research. When your school sues you, you become bigger than the school temporarily. If you're gonna win. So you gotta get ready. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble. And those people, like that's actually most people. And so that's another business is UTE week, because I was doing UTE week a year or 3 before it was even a thing. And so you're baiting the school to make a misstep. Remember, you're the one who wanted to do the college board and take on a monopoly. And so I can take on a monopoly and win. This is one of the ways, which is you practice against an oligopoly and you find a dude with prior art. Because somebody was saying college board way before college board. You need to get that person's approval. I've already done all your work for you, which is I'm the guy who started UTE week way before, because I was running Stanford E-Week. And I'm the guy who did Cal E-Week. So UTE week was way before UTE week. And so now that's a business at UT, because you could do it in January. You could do it right now during CS 178. And then some people will be like, whoa, UTE week's in March. Or they'll get on board and be like, well played, CS 178 students. Well played. We probably should have done a UTE week twice a year, in the same way that Austin Startup Week used to be like 3 times a year. That's a business. That's a business. And you're executing. And also, like, Josh will be like, hey, what's going on with your UT kids? Are they running against thing? And Josh will be like, fuck, I forget Larry Chang. And then be like, you know what? We should probably run one. So if the kids want to do it, let the kids do it. Right? You can kind of see that conversation going. But that conversation, that's going to take administrators like 5 months. And then the conclusion is let's just let them go. They're kind of troublemakers. But we had our meetings, and I'm afraid of that Larry Chang guy. He's scary as fuck. And plus I have resources. And this is a thing I can win, okay? With my tweets that I already tweeted. So I don't even need to get involved. You just look at old tweets. You're like, hey, UTE week, you didn't come up with this. Who came up with this? Right? Wait, he gave me permission to do this? I, Larry Chang, give you permission to rip 9 VCs you don't want to meet. I, Larry Chang, give you permission to read my tweets on open sourced UTE week. And once you win, you feel so good, because I'm 9 for 9 in court. And Mark Andreessen, he got sued for Netscape because he was at the University of Illinois in CS. Now he's Andreessen Horowitz, A16Z. Larry Chang, I got sued for Physics 107 notes. And then Professor Wolf was like, hey, you're kind of breaking trademark, even though I wasn't, because I was altering his notes. I was selling his notes for like $30 in my sophomore fail-out class, where if you didn't buy my $30 of notes, you're pretty much going to 50-50 fail Physics 107. It was punitive. 8 quizzes, like your CS 439 was my Physics 107. Half the people fail. If you don't buy my notes next year after I took it, you will fail. And so I basically added answers to all the questions. And then I sold notes. So the professor sells notes for $1.80, no answers. I sold notes $30, same notes with the answers. This guy, his name is Craig Masterson. We had a business called 21732 Fat Craig, FATCREG. That was our phone number. That was our business. Craig Masterson, once we got the cease and desist, he's like, holy fuck, we're gonna get expelled. I'm out. I'm like, you're out? You can't just not show. So he didn't go to the meeting, the expelling meeting. And then I asked my mentor, I was like, Mark McCormick, am I fucked right now? He's like, no, you're not breaking trademark law. And if you want, I'll get Carl Opedal, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, are you name dropping people I don't know? It's like, no, these are mentor mentions. Sound familiar? I used to be. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. He was my mentor in high school, and oh, did I poop the bed with Mark McCormack. That's a different story with Augie Garrido coming in, which is one flat world, which is why I'm so good at mentorship. I'm gonna cry. Why? Why am I so good at mentorship? Because I paid millions of dollars to be good at mentorship, and nobody studies mentorship. Why do you think my dog's named Tom Brady? Mark McCormack was like, you go to the meeting. Not only did I lose Craig Masterson as a business partner, I picked up a 2-year exclusive from Professor Wolf. He's like, you can sell these notes for 2 more years. You give me an exclusive, and I'm bumping that up to not $30 a quiz. This is literally printing money. $30. How much did it cost for me to make $30? Now bumped to more than $30. It cost me 8 times 8, which is 64 cents at Kinko's. I was making, for 64 cents, I was making $30, like thousands of times over each week for 2 years. I literally ran a business out of Kinko's. And they're just like, oh my God, you are just printing money, aren't you? Because everybody knew it was like $30 per set of notes. And then some people couldn't afford it. I'm like, well, you know, if you want, you can have a scholarship, but the notes come out on Monday, but the scholarship people, you can have it on like Wednesday, Thursday, right? Like you can get it for free. Oh man, why you gotta do it like that? I'm like, do it like what? Like I'm giving it to you for free, you know, not at the time of drop, right? You can get it like, you know, and then some people were like photocopying my notes. And at the time, red paper on black wasn't photocopyable. So then people would like be writing out my notes and then starting a business of selling my exact notes, but they would have to like write out all the answers and then re-photocopy. I'm like, you know what? Sure, but that's gonna take you a day or two. So then I actually bumped up my price and then let people pre-purchase the whole series at a massive discount. And it was Professor Wolf. I'm gonna cry for sure because Professor Wolf never would have given me that deal had his kid Christian not died, who's exactly my age. And so basically I got free money because his son died. And I remember him saying that because he actually kind of creeped me out. He's like, you're a tall, good-looking kid. I was like, oh, great. Like, gay shit's gonna start happening. Like, this is the stuff that I've read about. Man, like, I'm not gonna kill this guy, but I hope gay stuff doesn't start happening. Because gayness is fine, but like, you know, only when it's like my friends and, you know, acquaintances that are gay. Not when like this dude who might expel me could be gay by telling me, hey, you're a tall, good-looking dude. I was like, oh, great. And then he goes, next question. He goes, you are exactly like my son who just passed away. I was like, what the fuck meeting is this about? And he's like, you know you're breaking copyright, right? I was like, am I? You tell me. He's like, look, you're not going to get expelled. You need to get a sign off from the person who owns the copyright. That is me, Professor fucking Wolf. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, this is probably going to make you a lot of money, and you can have this for 2 years. No longer, okay? You can't have this for longer, but I'm a sophomore. Could you imagine me selling notes like after senior year when I've graduated with the #1 starting salary? No. So he's like, yeah, you can have it for 2 years. Basically, he knew that I was going to do this till senior year. I became a legend. And then other people were like, you know, what other legendary shit can you do? You know, you're in this fraternity. Like, what legendary shit have you done for us? Because class notes are a thing. And I'm like, let's start pulling some legendary shit. And so I did a 3-way for football block. Football block's 1 fraternity, 1 sorority. I did a 3-way. I was big into 3-ways, still am. And so that's not the first commercially viable thing, but I was good at math and science because I tutored. Same exercise. And then Duck 9 was helping wrangle sorority girls out of credit card debt who would buy a Victoria's Secret. Who cries on a conference call? Victoria's Secret catalog. They would buy stuff because it was basically free, and then they would move, and then they would get screwed because their bill would just be misplaced. And so P.O. Box 16589, scary that I remember that, right, in Columbus, Ohio. P.O. Box 16589, turns out Victoria's Secret is a G-spot of getting your FICO score either to 800 or 0. Because if you buy stuff and then you default, your credit score goes way down. But if you buy stuff strategically, return it, and then pay off the P.O. Box 16589, you can get a FICO score of 800. And so that's the component of moving, of getting confidence and then building a base. So you can't make a ton of money with sorority girls. I mean, I never broke $10 million, and I never would have broke $180 million had I not taken that same algorithm to turn around credit portfolios who their problem, 680 FICO score. Like their whole portfolio is at 680, their default rate's at 8%. Solution, make the 680 people 730, and so it's a free $200 million. It's a free $1 billion because you've taken that whole portfolio and made your cost of funds lower. When the FICO score goes up, the cost of funds goes up or down. It goes down because FICO is the only thing that is risk predictive. And so if you gamify the FICO, you lower your cost of funds. And when you lower the cost of funds, what happens to your margin? Margin increases. And so that's a Larry Chang all upside deal. And then I did it not with a contract. What 2 things did I do? Oh, A+. Seriously, if you don't get to $1 million, you should punch yourself in the face, and then punch yourself in the nose, and then punch yourself in the ear. 3 punches. Like, a lot of people would not get that. You're right, internal escrow, one-way letter of intent. I didn't have that in writing, okay? I had to go collect that money because I did a verbal deal. Yeah, by saying, look, you could screw me, congrats if you do, but know that we are not going to be best friends. I'm like, is that even going to work? He's like, not trust me, but what else can you do? Yeah, I collected it. And then when I did that, I was like, I'm not telling anybody I got all this money. I'm going to pretend like I'm poor. And then I bought a motor scooter, and then I thought my mentor was going to yell at me because I didn't spend any of the money. I didn't know. I ended up I still have that used motor scooter in one of the 8 houses that I own, right? Still got that motor scooter. I thought he wanted me to buy a Ferrari. And didn't you say buy a Ferrari? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, internal escrow, one-way letter of intent. You should make $1 million. Do you want to hang up now, or do you have more questions? I can go at this all day. Fuck my 11 o'clock. Yeah, fuck my 11 o'clock. Let's go. What else you got? Good job on internal escrow and one-way letter of intent. Good job. Because escrow, and then explaining people what internal escrow is, explaining people what one-way letter of intent is, and they'll be like, you know what, this kind of rings a bell somewhere. You think? And then that's what you want, is you want to tell people things that they already kind of know. Because a contract, 99% of your class will be trying to get a contract. You can see that, right? Like, oh, we're really close to a contract. We had a couple meetings. Trust me, you'll never get that contract. Nobody ever does. A large Fortune 100 company, they can't even a contract's impossible. They can't even do basic stuff. A contract. Yeah, 4 VCs. This is your format. 4 VCs. The first one's free. The first one's an LCRM. The first one's an LCRM. Your first 50 tickets are LCRM, $20. And you're gonna need to explain to people what LCRM is until you're blue in the face. But that's your practice. That's your practice. And then $20. And then the next block of tickets after the 40 tickets at 20, that's LCRM. The next 40 block of tickets is $25 with a half price off. So it'll look like they're only paying $12.50 for a $20 because the last people got suckered at 20. Does that make sense? Do you see how if you're a $25 ticket person, you actually feel good because you're only paying $12.50? And then you look at the 20 and you're like, haha, suckers, I'm only paying $12.50. But you don't realize that exactly. And do you see how that primes the pump? Because the last 40 tickets are at $30 and that's full price. Do you see how that works? The last 40 at $30? Because people will pay $30. And it's okay if you only sell like 20 tickets. And then exactly. But and then, if somebody needs to buy 150 tickets, well, I'm gonna have to blah 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 the venue. I'm gonna have to blah blah blah, make some adjustments. But those things are so easy. In fact, you wanna have the venues put this in a checklist thing, because guacamole recipe number 11 is you want to sell it out. So this is a guaranteed sellout that you're engineering. And so you're going to have to mark the thing sold out. And after you mark the thing sold out, you're going to get 80% of your sales. You're welcome. Do you see how this is how the world works? You've actually bought stuff after it said sold out. You just didn't know why. Or you didn't know that was just the plan all along. It totally makes sense. And so you sign up one VC, and then that is your marquee person, and then you update the Eventbrite to be, hey, this VC plus 3 other VCs are going to be pitching CS majors and friends. That language is critical. CS major, UT CS majors, Rice CS majors, whatever, Texas Tech. Throw a bone out to the losers in Lubbock. Texas Tech CS majors in Austin. I would pick a day, because you're going to get stressed about picking a day. But pick a day. I'd even pick a day like 2 weeks from now. I know that's going to stress you out. Does it stress you out? Yeah, it's not, though. You can totally do this. Just make sure that you don't flake and not show up. But I also don't put it up against the midterm. You already have the academic calendar in front of you, which is a huge advantage. What you want me to help you pick a day right now, because you picking a day and sticking to that day will be massively helpful to you. Ooh, 6 weeks away might be tough, but why do you say November 20th? Oh, that's a Saturday too. What are you doing that Thursday? This is probably a during the week event, like a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday 5:30 to like 8:30. Or like shorter, but it's like 6 to 7:30. Of November. There are? Where and when? Where and when? Like, is it 7 to 10? There are? Wait, this is critical information for me to know. New piece of paper. When's the 439 class? Did you say 5 to... Wait. That's 2 sections? So it's 2 sections of 439. Are they in the same... They are. Back-to-back same class? Where? Is there a restaurant around GDC first floor? Is there a meeting room around that coffee place? Is it every Tuesday? What's 5 to 7? Is that Tuesday and Wednesday? So those 2 days, it's 5 to 7 Monday, 5 to 7 Wednesday. And if you're in the 7 to 9 section, 7 to 9, okay. How many people? Each? Is there a coffee shop that you can lever? Where's there a meeting place after the 9 o'clock thing? Like, where do people go? Okay, we just run. How far away is that? Where do people go after 9 o'clock? Do they just disperse? Should you do it then on Tuesday, do you think? Like 7 to 9 p.m. So that way it's just like CS 439. Have you been to Native Hostel? What venue do you like to go to for meeting up with friends for whatever, a coffee or a beer? Which Starbucks? Is there an office by that Starbucks? Have you been to the Starbucks at JW Marriott? How often do students go downtown? Right. Is that because they have to spend money on an Uber or a scooter that they're like, yeah. Do you see why I'm asking these questions? Because booking space on campus is bureaucratic AF. Where do you guys meet for CS 178? What? There's no in-person meetings? It's crazy. you know what? November 9's pretty late. You're welcome. You're welcome. I totally forgot. So you're welcome. Anchor plus satellite. Anchor plus satellite. You're welcome. So November 9 is your anchor, okay? So November 9 is your anchor, and your satellite is that a Tuesday, November 9? What are you doing November 2nd in the morning? Okay, you're at Draper House. You're at Draper House. So you're, oh my God, you're welcome. Oh my God, I can't believe this is, I'm glad we stayed on the phone, or else you'd be screwed with never picking a date. You're welcome. You literally, yeah, you should say thank you. You're lucky. What did your high school teacher say when you like blew their mind with a thank you? What'd they say to you? Anything? Nothing? Yeah. Basically they're gonna cry. Same way I cried. You're welcome for this. You're welcome. So you know how like wait till I deliver. So you know how like everybody gets super stressed about, you know, their thing, okay? Like they just can't pick a date. So we picked a date and I'm like, that's actually really far away. But I forgot this, but now I remembered it, so you're welcome. It's called Anchor plus Satellite. Anchor plus Satellite. My God. And so you're gonna need to teach this to people, but this is me showing you how this shit works. So your anchor is your reverse VC party, 9 VCs you don't want to meet, okay? That's that Eventbrite, right? So that's good. It's November 9th. It's Tuesday. I'll help you with a venue. Oh, you should do it at the Waterloo Room at the Four Seasons. Do you know why? Because that'll be a trigger word for everything that every UT kid has done. Because when I lived at the Four Seasons, I was like, Margie, let's just do it at the Waterloo Room. Do you want a bigger room? That room is a little too small. The room is the smallest room ever, okay? But it works because when it's too small, people can go to the hotel bar. You're welcome. It's at the Waterloo Room. You're welcome. But what you're welcome part is November 2nd. Do it at Draper. Do an 11-minute party with full EUTWM PPM code. Meaning that is an anchor, but people don't know about November 9. So you're not just doing one event, you're doing 2 11-minute parties and another party October 27th at Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. You're welcome. That's the California Republican Party. They have a buyout. But guess what? Nobody's gonna show up in the first like 15 minutes of that party. Because women, they wanna show up late, blah, 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 okay? And so you do an 11-minute party that's like a pregame, but you're pre-gaming at a thing, and that's another 11-minute party. But now what you're doing is you're engineering up a tidal wave of momentum, perpetual promotion machine to build awareness for the only thing you care about, which is November 9, Tuesday in the Waterloo Room. And so it doesn't have to be on the 27th at Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. It could be 28th, whatever event's going on. The 27th is right now the only thing on my calendar for and it's perfect because you said, wait, is that a Wednesday? do October 7th, since it's a Wednesday, do it at 9 o'clock to do it at 9:15 to 11, so 9:26. Because that'll be literally 11 minutes. And people will be like, what the fuck? It's an 11-minute party? Like, yeah, I'm in CS, bitches. I used to go to cams and COs for literally like under 15 minutes. Because I had to freaking study, and I was an athlete, and I had a business, and I worked at the Daily Illini, and I was in a fraternity, and. So if I were gonna party, I partied every night, but I partied for like 10 minutes. And so you're hosting literally an 11-minute party. Why? You need to get there 2 minutes before the party, and you need to stay 2 minutes after the party. Can you get into a bar, by the way? Okay, so we might need to do something right across the street from Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, okay? Or when is your CS class? Are you 5 to 7 or are you 7 to 9? Even better, I think it's a restaurant before 8. You're welcome. Oh my God. Do you see the genius in this? And so now you have had 2 events. They weren't smashing successes, but 10 people showed up. And now you have momentum because on November 9, people are going to be like, what am I paying $500 for? Do you see? And it's just a name iteration that's a satellite. Okay. Set all this aside because I'm going to blow your mind. You as a CS major, me as a semi-professional CS person, we are actually going to SEO the crap out of the events that we hijack. Oh, do you see how we're the satellite that's going to be larger than the anchor? Because the current anchor isn't promoted at all. Like, do you think people even know about Young Republicans? Like, and then people will be like, are you even a Republican? Be like, look, I just go to where the money is, okay? And I'm issue specific. So if you think I'm going to be a blue or a red based on, 18 issues, like, I'm issue specific, baby. I love crypto. And right now, today, October 27th, Republicans love me, but love this issue. But if a Dem changes their mind tomorrow, which politicians do, okay, that's how to defend being any party or party agnostic. You will be giving them SEO juice, search engine optimization juice. Sorry, I talked to you like you're a non-CS major, sorry. But you'll be giving them SEO juice as you begin to value-addedly hijack as the satellite. What's Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? What can people expect? Ripping 2 pictures from Yelp to put into your minimum viable blog post. How many people are going to blog about the Young Republican Party Halloween party on the 27th? Nobody. And then now you do, okay, and you wedge in, hey, if you want to meet me at 7-11, and then your party goes literally 9:15 to 9:26. And so now you're going to be able to get a couple of pictures because I'll invite a couple of VCs. And then now you'll have a picture with a VC at 7. They can't tell. Nobody's going to timestamp it to be 7:15. Oh, those guys took pictures at 7:20. Their party wasn't until like 9:20. Nobody's ever going to say that, right? They're just going to be like, oh, venue, person, face. I can kill him if he takes $7,000 of my money and then doesn't let me pitch to CS majors, right? Yep, that's all I need, okay? That's the cursory check. And now I just taught you anchor plus satellite in a slingshot engage orbitals, where you're orbiting, and then now you need something, not just November 9, now you have October 27. And then November 2nd, you're welcome, is Draper House, Tim Draper House. You go there for 11 minutes, 8:55 a.m. to 9-ish. And so now you have more social media because November 2nd, you're hosting a party within a party. You're hosting the after party at the party. It's a party within a party. Duck 9, it's a company within a company. College Board, SAT tutoring, it's a oligopoly inside a monopoly. Larry Chang, CS183 VC, is me running circles inside Peter Thiel's head for Peter Thiel. It's a game within a game. It's a brain within a brain. It's you starting 0 to 600K. And you're picking up $50 may not seem like a lot of money to you, okay? And maybe it's a zero event for you. Maybe you make $0. But that $0 is actually 50 grand. And that's what delayed gratification and the marshmallow test teach us is, can we promote Tim Draper as we promote ourselves? And then you'll also be able to pitch if you stay until November 2nd. On November 2nd, if you stay from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, you can actually pitch. And then when you pitch, just make sure you record that pitch on video, because now you're pitching VCs to come, and then,